Good afternoon and welcome to 1 p.m. Weekly News, where we bring you the latest news and stories on climate change and sustainability. I'm your host, Nicki Bueno, and this episode is brought to you by Next Gen Clean Energy Solutions, your sustainability easy button from concept to completion. Traditional Indigenous knowledge is experiencing a renaissance these past few years. The National Science Foundation announced $30 million in grants to fund the inclusion of Indigenous peoples in the United States government's environmental and policymaking bodies. From protecting biologically important areas to predicting natural disasters and identifying medicinal plants, Indigenous knowledge is becoming highly valued in the age of climate change and biodiversity loss. More than a quarter of the land worldwide is managed by Indigenous peoples, with approximately 80% of Earth's biodiversity located on Indigenous territories. In a recent interview with Inside Climate News, anthropologist and environmental scientist Gonzalo Oviedo discussed the significance of traditional Indigenous knowledge and its challenges. Oviedo emphasized its practical nature, stressing its problem-solving approach and empirical basis. A recent study that was published by Inside Climate News reveals that diets high in processed meat and butter contribute to elevated levels of toxic PFAS, or forever chemicals, in human blood. The research, led by Haley Hampson from the University of Southern California, links pork, candy, sports drinks, chips, and bottled water to PFAS as well. Short for polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS are a class of approximately 15,000 chemicals that are used in products for their resistance to water, stains, and heat. PFAS don't naturally break down and are linked to cancer, birth defects, kidney disease, and other serious health ailments. The study's insights are providing crucial information for policymakers and regulatory bodies to address the growing concerns surrounding PFAS contamination in the food supply chain. The Tijuana River is carrying billions of gallons of sewage from Mexico into California, posing significant risks for communities on both sides. A report released by public health researchers last week at San Diego State University shed light on the pressing public health crisis along the U.S.-Mexican border. Contaminants include carcinogenic chemicals, viruses, bacteria, and parasites that have led to over 700 days of beach closures in San Diego County. The pollution extends beyond water, affecting air and soil quality and exposing residents to health hazards even miles from the coastline. While steps have been taken, such as Mexico's construction of a new wastewater treatment plant and U.S. funding for plant expansion, challenges persist due to infrastructure despair and funding shortages. The report underscores the urgent need for investments in infrastructure and public health resources to address the crisis' far-reaching impacts on human health and local ecosystem. Gen Z activists and residents at the U.S.-Mexico border have been advocating for immediate action to safeguard their communities and environment. Startup companies throughout the world are competing to develop cultivated meat as an alternative to traditional livestock farming. The lab-grown meat is produced from regenerative technology that is based on cells that are taken from animals to produce beef, chicken, pork, lamb, and fish without the need to raise or slaughter any of the animals. Household names who are now investing in the technology include billionaires Bill Gates, Richard Branson, and actor Leonardo DiCaprio. Environmentalists say it will reduce animal cruelty and help mitigate climate change. But there are opponents, with legislators in Florida, Texas, Nebraska, and Arizona pushing back against the sale and distribution of cultivated meats. In Florida, for example, there is draft legislation that proposes that violators who try to sell cultivated meat could face a misdemeanor of the second degree with fines of up to $1,000 and a suspension of companies' license to do business. Cattle and poultry associations are listed as the primary supporters of the restrictions. This story of the week is brought to you by Batricity, your energy storage partner. Swell Energy, a California-based company specializing in distributed energy storage, has acquired Renew Energy Solutions, a regional installer in the Carolinas and Georgia. This move aims to expand Swell's virtual power plant network by integrating more home batteries, offering compensation to participating homeowners, and strengthening the grid. Despite challenges such as lower electricity rates and less solar-friendly policies in the southeastern U.S., Swell sees strong potential in growing virtual power plant participation in this region. Renew, with approximately 5,000 installed systems since 2010, brings expertise and a strong customer base. Backed by substantial investments, Swell is focused on developing additional virtual power plant projects, expanding into new markets, and advancing technology. With factors like declining battery prices and increasing grid reliability issues, incentives for homeowners to install batteries are growing, especially in California. Participation in virtual power plant programs offers additional rewards, potentially turning individually owned storage assets into public goods and contributing to climate benefits. Those are the latest top-line stories from the sustainability universe. Please join us again next week for a new episode of 1 p.m. Weekly News.